Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to another night of legends from the past and future legends. Uh, just want to let everybody know that we are streaming live on YouTube and on Instagram. We're having problems right now bringing in our feature attraction. He's having problems right now. We're working on it right now. But in the meantime, you have the team. How you doing, Jeannie?
I'm doing well, Armin. How are
Awesome.
you?
I'm doing great. It's great having you back. And Yana, how are you?
I am doing well. Welcome to the show.
Yes. Welcome.
So let me ask you, is it Armin or is it Armand?
It's Armand.
Because I hear your family calling you Armin, and I think you made up Armand. I think you wanted to sound.
We grew up calling him Armin.
Wow.
Yeah, that was my.
We grew up calling him Armin. Yeah, I don't know where Armand came from, but
that was he made that up. He made up that pronunciation.
What? This is me. Armand. Anyway, it's not about me, all right? It's not about me. So what's going on? What's happening in the world of Jeannie and Ayana? What have you guys been up to?
Oh my gosh, what haven't I been up to?
right.
Just everything. I mean, the different hats I wear, and so just maintaining things, growing business, and being there for family. Balancing it all. That's what I've been doing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Same here, and I'm on the mend for healing. I had operation 10 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I have 3 more weeks to go. Hopefully I'll be able to walk on my right foot again.
Hopefully.
Yes, prayerfully. I'm claiming it. I am.
Definitely been sending that energy your way. So
yes.
What have you been up to, Armand? Or is it Armin? Armand?
Well, look, it's both. It's both.
Like tomato. Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I multitask with the names, man. But you know what? Everything's been pretty good. I'm excited. We getting ready to get together as a team and invade Roger Parker's house. Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah. That brother can cook. Yes, sir. Margaret, how you doing out there, Margaret and Nick? I'm good to see you. You are definitely
Hey,
on
Margaret.
time. Yeah. Night Brothers, what's going on, Night Brothers? How y'all doing tonight?
Hey, Night Brothers. Welcome.
Yeah. And I can't. Is it Dina? Is it
Dania?
Dania James. Hopefully we'll have your grandfather on pretty soon. We're working on that technical issue right now. What's up, Lodi? What's happening, man? Good to see you. We're working on a technical issue right now with Poop, so hopefully he'll be on. But in the meantime, we have the crew. In fact, it's good to see them back. I can just take me a little break there. What y'all think? Huh?
What?
Don't get too excited.
Hey, I think it's proper. Don't you think so?
Mm-mm.
Huh? You don't think so?
No, sir.
Well, guess what? We got next week we have the Annapolis High senior high football coach that will be on with us live.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's been doing a lot of great things, man. Getting a lot of kids in D1 schools. He's really trying to turn that program around. So he'll be on next week, and then the following week.
Mm-hmm.
You know what the Legends team are doing? We are sponsors to the Alabama A&M chapter, DC chapter, golf tournament. All right. Now, and what that chapter is trying to do is raise $30,000 for scholarship, and the Legends will be there. we're gonna be streaming live.
All right.
Yeah.
Looking forward.
Huh?
Looking forward to it.
You looking forward to it?
Yes.
Ayana, do you golf?
No.
Oh, okay.
Not yet. I need some lessons.
I do too.
I'm taking a couple, but I need to be more consistent with it.
Yeah.
Look, you guys go. I'm going to mute myself real quick and check on Poop Galloway to see what's happening. Okay.
And again, audience fans, we apologize for the delay. They're having some technical difficulties, so they're working on it in the background.
So one of the things, I can make a few announcements of things, that I know I'm working on that other people might be interested in. And so one thing is that, I don't know if people know this, and I know this is a totally different show. We would have to really dig deep and talk about this, but Maryland, the state of Maryland, each county has a property tax sale once a year. And so we are in the thick of our tax sale season here in the state. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to kick people out of their property. Some people have an issue like, oh, well, does it mean I have to kick somebody out of their property? It doesn't necessarily mean that. I mean, some sales have vacant property on them. Some have land. There are buildings, anything that you can think of that is a property is on the sale. And so some of the next sales that are coming up, actually, Anne Arundel is coming up in June. Okay, Anne Arundel's coming up in June 4th to be exact. You have until May 24th to register. Baltimore City is coming up on May 20th, and you have until the 10th, which is a couple days away, to register. And so this is a way that you can
tell them stop texting in the group chat.
Oh, he's here, yay! This is a way you can acquire property for pennies on the dollar. So I just kind of want to throw that out there.
Okay, where do you register?
Guys that might want to be interested in acquiring some real estate, or you've been thinking about real estate, but you've been on the fence and not necessarily sure that you have the funds to do it. This is a way you can get real estate for pennies on the dollar. So that's my golden nugget. I didn't charge you a dime for it.
So where do you register, Ayana?
So each county has their own website.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, so before we get started, one question was not a question, but posting your tax information on the website, okay, or on this site. You weren't prepared for that. You weren't ready for this, but we're gonna get that out there, okay? Whatever information you have, or if you can get it before the show is over, let's go ahead and post that, okay?
Absolutely.
Now, let's welcome to the show the one and only James Poop Galloway. How you doing, Poop?
Very good. Very good.
Awesome. Welcome to the show.
Welcome.
And I have to give you this real quick. Hey, that's the best I can do right now. We'll work on that.
All right.
We're gonna go back in time real quick, okay? Let's go back to, where were you born and raised?
Where were you born and raised? Okay. Well, I'm born and raised in Eastport.
We just lost him again. We having problems. I'm sorry for the technical difficulties, but I'm gonna check one more time to see.
He might have pushed, it seems like maybe he pushed a certain button or something and dropped himself. Yeah.
Okay.
There he is.
We are trying to get him in. He's coming. Mm-hmm. He's coming. There he
is. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're born and raised. All right. I was born and raised in Eastport, 227 Chester Avenue.
Awesome. What are some of the things that you can remember that you enjoyed doing while growing up?
Well, first off, as a young guy living in Eastport, you had to learn how to swim because everybody, older guys in Eastport, swam. So when I reached 6.5 years old, Guys my uncles took me down to the waterfront, threw me over, and told me I was on my own.
Did it work?
Yeah, it worked because I started swimming, and I've been swimming ever since.
Well, now, did you do the same thing with your children?
Well, every one of my children could swim. All my grandchildren can swim. I taught them, and some of my great grandchildren. Once they got 6 years old in the water.
Now, growing up, did you play any sports at all?
Yeah. Well, being an e-sport, you had to play. Football was number one. Basketball was number two. And then you had to play softball because they had all three sports that we played in youth league, but we didn't have a youth league. We just went out there and said, Spa Road, we're going to play you. Downtown, we're going to play you. Uptown, we're going to play you. And that's how we did.
Now, you know which neighborhood led the way. Now, you know where the champs came from.
I know you're going to bring that Spa Road mess up, but you're right.
I want you to say it again to everybody out there that's listening, because we got a lot of communities out there.
I want to know that Spa Road won the first game of the summer league. Number one. They were number one.
Come on now. Come on now. That's what I'm talking about. Now we're gonna move away from the nostalgia, right? And
okay.
We're gonna move into some of Ayana's questions for you. Okay.
All right.
All right. So you talked a little bit about your upbringing and the neighborhood where you grew up. Tell us about your schooling. Where did you go to school? Where did you attend school?
Well, my high school was Bates High School. And after Bates High School, 7 days after I graduated from Bates High School, I was down in Hampton. And that's where I started college at Hampton. Well, I was down in Hampton for a year, left Hampton, went in the military, in the Air Force, got out of the Air Force 4 years later, went back to college at Morgan State. And there I graduated.
What did you major in? What did you get a
political science, pre-law.
Awesome. Okay. And how did you actually use that degree? I know a lot of people, we go to school, because we were told that's what we needed to do. But did you actually use your degree in any way in the profession?
Yeah. What I did with my degree, I knew that I wanted to do some things. So I worked in an insurance company, and I was an insurance investigator. And so my political science degree gave me experience because I was able to deal with people on a national level, because some of my clients was in Europe.
Wow. Okay. Come on. So
now we're gonna acknowledge a few people that's showing some love to you before we move into our next form of questions. Okay. First of all, is it Danae? Your granddaughter, is it Danae?
Danae, Randy.
Okay. Randy? Danae. Yeah, Danae, Randy.
Danae. Okay, Danae, welcome to the show, and it's an honor to have me here tonight. Margaret, thanks for joining us. Night Brothers show, great show last night. Thank you. Orlando, hey, yeah, your cousin. I got you. Kevin Smith, grandfather in love. I got you. Yeah, hey, give you some love, fool.
Yep.
Avis, all the way from Atlanta. Oh, Taste and See Vegan. Who was that? She's showing, whoever it is, showing you a lot of love, grandfather.
Well, I thank them.
Yes, sir. Tangy, Angel Big.
Yes.
Mega Side 5, brother. We're gonna talk about that.
Yep.
Diggs. Okay, talk a little bit about Bates. Now, Bates has a lot of history to it. It was a black school, right? Tell us your experience at Bates.
What was your experience at Bates?
My experience at Bates, Well, first off, I was in the agriculture department because I thought I wanted to be a veterinary science. And so I was in the agriculture department, but I was taking a lot of academic classes along with my agriculture. And within that experience in Bates, in the agriculture department, we had a group of people that sang, and they broke us up into, well, this was nationwide, and they broke us up into vocal groups. And in the agriculture department at Bates, we had a vocal group that went all over the Eastern Seaboard singing and representing the agriculture department. And the Bates High School singers, which was part of us, well, we won the singing. And so consequently, the Bates gave us a background because we also sang in the Bates choir, the senior choir at Bates, the male choir at Bates, and then also at Bates, I played football. I was starting quarterback in my last 2 years at Bates. I played basketball, and I was number 6 player, point guard, and so consequently, I had a lot of experience. Plus, I was on the track team at Bates, running the mile. So at Bates, I got a lot of experiences. So from there, I was prepared for college, and my academics was I was always in the top of my class because I came out Bates with a low A average. So I figured I did a little bit while I was in high school, but that prepared me for college.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Now, while you were growing up, okay, you were working and earning 50 cents working, right? At, what was it, Chesapeake Bay for 50 cents? What exactly were you doing for 50 cents?
Well, while we were at Bates High School, there was a group of guys and a couple of girls that worked at Carver Hall. And at the time, Carver Hall was right across from the Naval Academy. And this is where all the people that had children going to the Naval Academy, becoming midshipmen, well, they use Carver Hall as their base. And so consequently, the Mr., we call him Cap, Marcellus Hall, he went to the high school and said, Professor King, I need people to work at Carver Hall. And so he got us working at Carver Hall, and there we would work doing these parties that the people would have. And at these parties, we served the people. Sometimes we had to go in before school and work, and after lunch we come back and we had to go back to high school. But we served these people their meals, and consequently our salary was 50 cents an hour. and we would work some days 9, 10, 11 hours. But that 50 cents wasn't all ours because once we got paid, our parents took most of it and gave us $2 to $3 for all that week's work.
Wow. Now, before I give it back to Ayana, now, off that salary that you were making, all right, somewhere in between then, you met the love of your life, right?
Right.
How were you able to take her out and pay for your dates?
To tell you the truth, all I had to do was buy a pack of cigarettes. Buy a pack of cigarettes, and she was happy. Hey, this was the thing that, they're young, they want to do something different. So they steal a cigarette or two, so I buy a pack. And I was in. It's what we did.
I got you. Hey, she's not in the room, is she?
I know.
Okay, all right.
How did you know she was the love of your life?
Oh, well, after a while, you you talk to certain ladies, and after a while, you realize, okay, this is the one because she put up with all my craziness. And I was kind of a little wild there for a while. I was kind of off the hook for a while. and she rang, as they say, she rang me in. She brought me right on in. You know how you ladies do.
So speaking of love, you said you played many different sports. Did you gravitate towards one versus others?
Say that again.
You had you were involved in many different sports,
right?
So did you love one more than the others?
Oh, I'm glad you said that. There was two that I loved more than everything I did, and that was football and basketball. That was the love of my life, football and basketball.
Now, at some point, you started a league. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, the city used to have a summer league, and all of a sudden they just stopped it. And for about 7 or 8 years, nothing. So we were downtown playing outside at the rec center. And I said, you know what? We need to start the summer league again. And the guys said, yeah, maybe so. So they start playing over Eastport on the playground where I used to live. They made it a playground. And so the guys would come from in town, Spar Road, Parole, and of course Eastport, and then downtown. And we play every evening during the late spring and summer and early fall. So I said, man, look, we're doing this. Let's start a league. So I talked to Paul Johnson, and he said, well, Poop, I'm with you. And then I talked to another one of my main guys, and he said, hey, Poop, I'm with you. And so consequently, we started the league. We didn't have no officials, so I was officiating. And then some of the guys that played when their team wasn't playing, they officiated the games. And after it got to be a pretty good league, and then I was able to talk to a couple of sailors that I knew stationed at the Naval Academy, and they said, we'll referee the league. And in 1975, the league started up, and it got so big that there wasn't room for it in the Eastport anymore because the people were standing out in the streets watching the game and blocking off the intersections. And then there was standing on people's property and tearing up the grass. So they said, this has got to go. So from there, they moved it down to the Y at the Pip Moyer Center. And from there on, the league remained there, but it did start in Eastport on Chester Avenue, right on the corner of Chester and 3rd Street. And I got to say, one of my main guys there was Les Stanton, because Les Stanton was my main guy. He and I, and then Paul Johnson, we got things going. But Les was my main man.
Awesome. And so what were some of the challenges? I know you talked about, having to officiate or wear several hats at one time. What other challenges were there during that time developing a league? Well,
the biggest problem was getting the teams to play regularly, because the guys they play when they want to. So the incentive was every player on each team put up 25 cents, and that 25 cents because at the time we had five different teams, so we took that money, and then that's how we got officials to officiate the game for 25 cents from each player, and we were able to give those guys $20 a night. But they were officiating 3 games a night, so we would start at 5, and by 9:30, 10 o'clock, the last game was there. But the incentive was to make them do something if they wanted to play, and they wanted to play because there was nothing else for the basketball players to do during that time. So that was an incentive. And once I started paying the two guys that were stationed at the cabin, they were sailors, and they said, okay, we'll pay for that $20 a night. And so consequently, that's how the incentive started. And then what we did, we went to downtown to the athletic department, city athletic department, and we talked to them, said, look, we need trophies, to go with those guys that are playing the winners in the winning team. So what they did, they gave us one trophy for the winning team, and the other teams, nothing. And so after that, in the third year, then they would give, for the winning team, they would get trophies, and the runner-up, they had one trophy for the runner-up. And that's how things were progressing in that basketball league.
Awesome. So it sounds like you really had the support of the city.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
We had the support of the city recreation department and a few other people in the community, because they enjoyed what they were looking at. And a lot of the adults were there, and they enjoyed it, even though some complained, but they enjoyed the camaraderie that developed between the players. And then, there was always this thing about Spar Road. and they were the first two champions of the league. And from there, it spread to other teams. But I got to give them their kudos. They were the first two winners. Chill.
That's right.
Chill.
That's right.
Come on, back to you.
Hey, before I get you with this question, Poop, Dominic Galloway, did you coach at the Y?
Dominic?
No, did you coach? He said that.
Did I coach at the Y?
Yeah.
No. What I did at the Y, I was an observer, and what I did, I kind of made sure that things was going in order, and there wasn't going to be no messing around and creating a problem for the league.
Yes.
Because all eyes was on the league, and then it got to the point that I had to do that because we got people coming up from North County joining the league, and South County joining the league. And then during that time, I got this buzz in my head, and I had a friend that I used to coach when he was a young fella, and he lived down in North Carolina. He was a policeman down there. And I told him, I said, look, could you bring a couple of teams up during the summer, because we're going to have a summer league playoff. And so we started getting teams from North Carolina. Then before you know it, we were getting teams from Philadelphia, from D.C., Northern Virginia, and Delaware. They were involved in the summer league playoffs. And it got so big that I even had a dream, and I got the young people involved, boys and girls. Yes. From the age groups of, I think they were 10 to 13. And we started a league from them. And my friend down in North Carolina would bring boys and girls in that age group for the playoffs, for the smaller group in the summer league. So it blossomed to a big thing, and we weren't expected. But some of the pro players that made it in big leagues in the NBA played right down there in the summer leagues.
Yes.
Name some names.
Rasheed Wallace.
Oh yeah, name it. Rasheed Wallace. Yeah, he came there, and he said these were country boys. When he left, they weren't country boys anymore. He said these guys can play.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And you see,
Keith Colbert.
and well, our own guys, Keith Colbert, Applejack, all those guys went overseas and played professional ball. They came out of the summer league. Chatney Howard played summer league. He went overseas and played professional ball. So we've been lucky, and we had a few young men quite a few young men to go to college because of the summer league.
Well, I'm gonna get into a little bit of history in a second, but I have to acknowledge some of the compliments here. Well, first of all, you on YouTube, subscribe to our page. Okay, subscribe now. David Willis, he said that you kept a lot of people on track, and Boya Chu, all right, he fought Antonio Tarver and said he got started because of you, right?
Yes. Now, Boya. Matter of fact, Boya and his brother played football for me. Boya started with football, and then when Boya got older, then Boya got into boxing, and Boya became a professional boxer coming out of the youth league football program. And he and I, we kept in close contact, and we see each other now, and I praise him for what he did, because this is something he wanted to do, and he stuck with it.
That's true. That is
exceptional young man.
Yeah. Now Lenny Knight, he said, thank you for being a trailblazer and creating the Summer League. It helped so many young black, which you just got through state, Keith Colbert, Applejack, and there were many, many more who Carl Amos, Ricky Amos.
Oh, absolutely. Carl Amos was one of them.
Absolutely. Now, here's a history note, Ayana.
Okay.
He was a firefighter, but he was the first black firefighter at the Naval Academy. Talk a little bit about that, Poop.
Yeah. When I took the test, and it was another guy, Jack Shelton. He was originally from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. We took the test at the same time, but they were hesitating. So my wife's uncle lived in D.C. He was in charge of civil service offices all over the Eastern Seaboard. So I went to him and I said, look, I haven't heard from the Naval Academy yet. So he went up to the personnel office one day. I get this call, said, James Galloway, you report down to the fire department. So I go down to the fire department. I talked to the chief, and the chief said, he asked me some questions. He said, look, you're already hired. He said, we had somebody from D.C. to check your records. It wasn't that what it was. They had put my records in the bottom of a drawer up at the personnel office. He went up there and found it. But anyway, when I got on the job, as you can imagine, I'm the first. So, there were incidents that I straightened out day one. I said, my name is James E. Galloway. You can call me Jim if you want to. You can call me James or you can call me Galloway. But that's what you're going to call me. And that's where it's going to be. So after I went through it, and then one of the guys there in the fire department, he was from Eastport, the Caucasian guy. He said, I want to tell y'all, we Eastport people stick together. So you're going to accept him. He said, because he's Eastport. From then on, I never had a problem.
You know what? And I think this is why showbiz is giving you so much love. Derek, right?
Yeah.
Eastport, that Eastport connection.
Absolutely.
I got you. Now, your granddaughter, she's the one that's showing me a lot of history notes with you, Alexis. She knows a lot about you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
she does.
Wow.
Because, she's been around me ever since she's a little girl, and she was one of those that, we took her to the water to teach her. So she's been with us ever since. She loves her grandparents.
Man, that's beautiful. That is beautiful.
So one of the viewers, Gerald, he said that you started boys and girls. You started Cub and Boy Scouts for the youth in Eastport. Tell us about that. What was that experience like?
It was down at Eastport Church in Mount Zion on 2nd Street. That was our church. Well, prior to that, I'd been, as a young boy, I'd been a Cub Scout and a Boy Scout. And so as I got older, Mr. Johnson, which was the Boy Scout master at the time. He said he was getting ready to give it up. So he asked me would I take the Boy Scouts over. And I said, yeah. And so I got involved with that. And we used to go to the different camps, and we'd go up to Broad Creek Camp, which is up in the northern part of Maryland, right on the Pennsylvania line. And I would take the guys for 2 weeks or more, and we would train up there. And lo and behold, that's the place that I went when I was a Boy Scout and became a lifeguard up there because of my ability to swim well enough. And so I always took the boys, and a lot of our boys, they made junior lifeguards up there because most of them being from Eastport, I mean, they were in the water ever since they were little boys. And so that was a great experience. And plus learning about nature. Up there, they learned camaraderie. They learned to cook. They learned to serve others. And I was just proud to be a Boy Scout master because I had learned from Mr. Johnson how to be a Boy Scout master, and his wife, Mrs. Johnson, she was involved in the program when I was a little boy, so I learned from them. And then I involved some Scout troops from down Davidsonville, yeah. And I used to take their troops along with us because their master couldn't take them. So, and we would go to Fort Meade for training on weekends, and it was just to get these guys a new way of life and get them off the streets.
Wow. And so it seems like you taught a lot of people to swim, right? You threw them on.
Yes, I did.
But you also coached a lot of people. Did you coach your children?
Yes.
And what was that like? Did they listen to you?
My son, Don, I coached him as a little boy playing youth league football until he went to high school. And the funny thing about it, when he transferred from Annapolis High School to Broadneck High School, and I ended up over at Broadneck coaching basketball over there, and I was one of the assistant coaches on the football team, and he played football and basketball over, so I coached him at both places. Then my grandson Dominic, he was going to Old Mill and doing the summer league. My son Don and I coached him for his 4 years at Old Mill doing the summer league, and I had a lot of coaching experiences because I coached girls from Annapolis High School during the summer league, and girls from Old Mill. I coached them during the summer league, and again at Broadneck, I coached the JV basketball team for 2 years. So I had a little bit of experience there.
Wow.
Danae said you are the toughest coach she ever had.
Beg pardon?
Danae said you are the toughest coach she ever had. Well,
he knows. They all knew that I didn't play. I expected the best out of him. And Armin can tell you, he knows that, you give me the best, you're fine. If you don't, I have no time for you. You're wasting my time. Either you're going to play or you're not going to play. That was me. But your first thing was hit the books.
That's right.
If you don't make at least a C, you can't play. Any sport that I coach, you could not play anything. If you got anything under a C, no sports. And I told that to the parents. Yeah. So consequently, I stuck with that, and I coached with my son up at Old Mill for 9 years. I coached my granddaughter up there, and she played high school ball up there. And AAU, I coached AAU with my son and I. But I tell you, with all of that, I remember my oldest son, Gene, because he used to play. I used to coach him in youth league, and he played with guys around Armin's age, and these guys were athletes. They were athletes.
Absolutely. Well, there's one thing. And Ayana, I'm a little stuck with this a little bit, because Poop was a Army recruiter, but I'm seeing somewhere where he had an affiliation with the Air Force.
Okay.
I don't get it. What's going on with that, man?
Okay, well, I tell you, when I first left college down in Hampton, Dr. Johnson said, Galloway, look, go in the military, and after the military, they'll pay for the rest of your education. So I said, well, I'm not going in the Army. Well, I volunteered for the Air Force. Luckily, there was 13 other guys from Bates High School that volunteered the same time I did. And we all end up in the same squadron training down Lackland Air Force Base, Texas. And after we got out of there, it was a 13 weeks training. Then I go to what they call tech school, which is in Wyoming, Cheyenne Air Force Base, Wyoming. I was over there. I trained there. And then when I got my first assignment was Shepherd Air Force Base, Texas. While there, one of my classmates and a cousin of mine, Buddy Turner, he ended up down there going to school as an aircraft mechanic. So I said, well, this is homeboy, and then from there, then I ended up in Alaska, and I had just under 2 years in Alaska. That's why I was in the Air Force. And then later on, I got out and went back to school at Morgan. And then after that, then I joined the Army again. And then I became a recruiter in the Army. And as a recruiter, I recruited you and many others. All together, I recruited about 105 people in the area. Because I was also recruiting in Baltimore City where I wasn't supposed to. Down in St. Mary's County, I wasn't supposed to. But wherever they wanted to go, I was there.
Yeah. Well, you actually you helped a lot of troubled young men, a lot of young men who could have had troubled lives get off of the streets, and you helped us do something positive for ourselves, and it was because of you. All right, I was able to complete 22 years in the Army, successful 22 successful years, and based off of what I was doing prior to that, I tell you, it was the best decision ever, and I thank you for that.
And I thank you for what you said, because you were one of my guys.
Yeah.
I just have to tell it like it. You were one of my guys.
But one thing I remember now, I haven't forgotten, is you and Smitty. All right.
Yeah.
I was trying to sneak in the Army, but one of you went back and told my father, Muhammad's trying to join the Army.
That was Smitty. Look, I have to tell her if she's not here. That was Smitty. but Smitty, he was interested, and he was a station commander, so he had the last word anyway. And I, since I was at that station long before he came there, he knew I knew everybody from Annapolis because I was born and raised. So when I told him about you, and he knew your family was a military family. Going way back to your grandfather, Mr. One and Only Rodney Jones. Yeah. So he was Mr. Military in Annapolis for years. Yeah. So we had to take care of you.
Well, you did a great job. You did
Thank you. Yeah, he's a good guy.
So I want to hear about this game. So somebody put in the chat that you coached a first-year Eastport football team that beat the T-Birds on Weems Wayne Field. Tell us about that game.
Renegades.
Oh, yes.
They beat the T-Birds.
Well, the Renegades, the team developed out of the Eastport Elementary School, and it was made up all the guys in the Eastport community that were in the 8th grade and the 9th grade at Eastport Elementary School. And so consequently, our first year playing youth league football, the favorite team, the team that has crushed everybody in the county, was the T-Birds. And our first year, we whipped the T-Bird, we whipped the pants off them. And their coaches was crying, because they'd never lost a game. And here this little upstart team from Eastport took care of them. Well, it was because those boys had a mission. They said, we're going to beat the T-Birds. And I was saying, okay, guys, that's a rough, tall order. And they did it. And from then on, they gained respect. And then the Renegades just blossomed into a wonderful team. I think we had about, altogether in the program, in the Renegades, we had about 90 players because we in different weight groups. And we were successful in that. And out of that, many of those guys went on to high school and played in the high school.
Well, I'm going to say this. I'm with Lodi on this. One time, you beat T-Birds one time, and that's it. That's it.
Oh, during your reign, you and Lodi's reign, of course, one time. And then after you guys got out of the way, because we needed you out of the way, then we were successful a couple more times. But during your time, it was just that one time, but we blossomed in that. Hey, we beat the best thing in the county, the T-Bird.
And one time.
Beg pardon?
See that?
Sometimes
that's my
you
hopes,
just take one time,
See that?
Look,
with you.
Look, but after all that, I joined the T-Birds as a coach because I knew they were the best out there, and there a lot of family members. Yeah, that's for sure. A lot of family members of the T-Birds. So, hey, I had no choice. Yeah. But I enjoyed it because they had a great program. Because they were the first in the county for a long time. They reigned at number one throughout and around the county, and they played in all the playoffs. They were in every playoff. Yeah, I joined them because they were number one, and I thought I was number two. So I love being a part of that program also.
Well, tell us about one other thing. I need to know this. All right, now, all right, you went to Morgan State.
Okay.
And I'm seeing where you were awarded Man of the Year by Omega Psi Phi, sir. You pledged Omega Psi Phi?
No, here's what happened. When I was at Morgan, and I went out to pledge, and one night they started beating guys in the chest. And here I'm 24 years old. I said, oh no, that ain't gonna happen to me. Not these young guys. These guys 19 and 20 years old here. Yeah, I'm almost 25 and they're gonna be beating me in my chest. No. So I waited and I joined the grad program, Omega Psi Phi. Well, I thought I was doing something. They did another thing. You had to throw the bottle up with them. I said maybe I should have taken that beating. But anyway, after being in Omega Psi Phi for 2 years, and I became the KRS, which in other words, it's a secretary, but our name is the Keeper of Records and Seals, and that's what I was. And I did that for almost 4 years, and I did a pretty good job, I guess. And so they awarded me Omega Psi Phi Man of the Year, and that was quite an honor because they only award people that had gone above and beyond duty, and I guess that's what I did. And they did that for me, and it was quite a night there when I was crowned.
Yes. Well, that's awesome. I gotta say, this has been great. This has been an honor. So many great comments about you, and you are truly a legend. And I thank you for accepting this invitation to appear on the Legend Show. What words of encouragement would you want to leave any young man out there that's listening that would help them be successful?
Okay, here's the first thing, and I'm a diehard for this: education. You have to have education to survive. You're not going to make it without education. Then, when you have that education, you have dedication.
Yes.
And you have to pick out a career that suits you. And then you're going to have to put your best foot forward. There's times that things going to happen, and you might not like it, but you got to look above that. What is your goal? So you got to be goal-oriented. Once you're goal-oriented, you got education, you got desire to be successful. All young people, guys or girls, you can be successful if you dedicate yourself to your best interest and what you like to do in life. And that's what I can give them, because that's what I did. That's what you did, and many like you.
Yes. Awesome.
And that's what we do.
Awesome. Ayana, is there anything else you would like to say to the legendary?
Thank you for being, I'm just meeting you tonight for the first time, but you're surrounded by so much love, your family, so many wonderful comments, as Armand said. And I just salute you, and I thank you for everything you've done for the community and for joining us on the show tonight.
Well, I thank you all. And this first time meeting you, but you're quite a lady. So whatever you do, you keep doing it. And you take care of him. Because he's a good guy. And y'all look like you're good people. Keep doing what you do. And thank you for inviting me. Love both of you.
Awesome. We love you too. Hold tight. Don't go anywhere, okay? Everyone out there, thank you for joining us tonight. And if you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to our TV show channel. All right, it's scrolling across. Legends for the Past 34 YouTube channel. Please subscribe. Join us again next week. We're going to have another fascinating show. We're going to have Coach Hunt, the Annapolis High head football coach, next week. The week after, we're going to have another great guest. We're going to have the Alabama A&M chapter, DC chapter.
Wow.
Who we are actually sponsoring that golf tournament in Davidsonville on the 24th. Again, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week. Peace.
Peace. Good night.
Peace out.